Students, how are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. If this is your first time of coming across this channel, sweetheart, kindly smash that subscribe button and turn your notification so you are notified each time I upload, and please give this video a thumb up. I appreciate you all so much, and I am saying a very big shout out to you all for the love, the support you all shower me here with. I am grateful, and you all are super sweet. So today we'll be talking something very important, and it's about people being genuinely concerned about Project 2025, and some are like, I am confused whether I need to be worried or not. So a lot of people actually made a lot of points here, and they talked about how they refuse to have United States do not have universal basic care because they do not want black people to benefit out of it and all that. And a lot of people are calling people out also to vote the right thing, because if you do not do the right thing, some people are just doing the same thing and expecting different results. But for you to want a different result, you have to do something different. Let's get into this video.
So when I was married, I used to play my husband in chess. He actually taught me how to play chess, and I got so infatuated with the game, whenever he didn't want to play, I would play myself, and I would play the computer. But whenever I would play myself, it allowed me to play both sides of the board, to the point to where I knew how to play regardless if I was white or black. A lot of people have commented and asked, how do we combat Project 2025? How do we block it? Now, I do want to ask how many people have sat down and read the plan. And in you reading the plan, did you notice the things that they said they needed in place, the positions they need in place, the things that need to happen in order for this plan to become reality? In the beginning of that plan, they also mentioned that they have done a plan like this before when President Reagan was in office. They talked about what they did in order to implement over 60% of the policies that they recommended to President Reagan. Now, we have their future plan, and we have a plan that they've done in the past that we can study. It allows you to be able to see the entire board. A lot of people also comment and ask me, why do you read and study the Bible if you're not a Christian? Why do you talk about the Bible and if you're not a Christian? Why do you talk about Rome? Why do you blah, blah? And I always answer, if I don't, then I don't know what my opponents are up to. And no, I'm not saying Christians are my opponents. But I've talked to y'all about the New Jerusalem plan. I've talked to y'all about how Christian nationalists believe that America is New Jerusalem. I've talked to y'all about how dominionism believes that it is their duty to usher in the end times. And then to do that, they have to clean up America so that Jesus can come back. It is also why Christian nationalists are supporting what's happening in Israel right now, because they believe that the chosen of God has to go back to their homeland so that Jesus can come back and fight for them and then give the homeland to them. I mean, it's a lot. But in studying that and understanding how they think, I can understand what it is that they're trying to do. Same thing with playing chess by myself. So in chess, you have a king, and the king is like the president. Now, the king is the most important piece on the board. Everybody's working to protect the king because there's this illusion that the king has power because he's the king. But it's an illusion. The king is the most limited piece on the board, but he takes up all of the resources. The king can move in any direction, but he can only move one space at a time. And he does have power to take out a vulnerable piece of your opponent. Now, the president can veto a bill, the president can write executive orders, and then the president controls the military. But he can't declare war. And if he vetoes a bill, Congress can get 2/3 of the vote and veto his veto. So again, limited, but can be used strategically. And then you have the queen. The queen is the most powerful piece on the board and can move any way she wants. Her job is to protect everybody that is protecting the king, the most powerful. Liken that to the Speaker of the House right now, Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson believes that his role is to protect New Jerusalem, okay, and return it to its glory. As Mike Johnson stated, America is an experiment. He doesn't know how long the experiment is going to last. He doesn't know how long America's going to be here because they believe that it is their job to usher in the end times. If you don't believe me, read this. This is a part of the document that I shared with y'all the other day called America is New Jerusalem. But that last line, if all the youth were educated in a manner we recommend, the kingdom of God would appear to have come. Who's decided to privatize education? Who's decided to take over education? Who wants to write any curriculum and teach it to your children? Mike Johnson. All right, so we know who the queen is, and then we have our rooks. Our rooks can move unlimited number of spaces horizontally or vertically, and then you have your bishops. Your bishops can move unlimited number of spaces diagonally, but they have to stick to their own color. And then you have your knights. Your knights, I like them because they can move in an L shape and they can jump over any piece on the board. Now, this is Congress. This is your state representatives and your members of the Senate. Now, the reason why I say I like the knights is because the knights would be your independent thinkers. They are the ones that are not loyal to any party lines. They don't necessarily always vote along the party lines. They always bring up a challenge, and they may vote against their own party if it advances something that they want to happen, advance their interest. Who are the knights? Who are the knights on our side who are against Project 2025? It doesn't matter if they're Republican or Democrat, okay? What we need to know is who is against this Project 2025, okay? And then we also need to know who's for it so that our rooks and our bishops, we can help our rooks and our bishops take them out and block them. Now, you also have your pawns. That is all of us. The pawns, when they come out the gate, they can move 2 spaces forward. Okay, after that, they move 1 space at a time. Once they get into their opponent's territory, they can upgrade. They can upgrade to any piece on the board, except for the king, and they typically will upgrade to a queen. Now, we can't upgrade to a queen because the house already has a queen. But we do need some pawns to get to the opposite side and upgrade. Upgrade. No, okay, that was corny as hell. I need to edit that out. And then pawns need to vote. We need our pawns out voting, getting people to vote. And then strategically choose our king. The king that we can use to veto. The king that we can use their unlimited spaces. It does not matter if you like that king or not. Because again, he's limited. He's an illusion. He's a power illusion. He doesn't have the power that you think. It is the queen, the rook, the bishop, and the knight that has the power. And then you, even you have the power to upgrade. I hope I made sense. But that's how we need to look at this. Okay? We need a lot of y'all in office. We need a lot of y'all running for office. We need a lot of y'all doing the work to figure out who on either side is against Project 2025. Okay? And then we need y'all to think strategically about the king that you choose. Because our goal right now is to block the hell out of that queen. Block the hell out of their queen.
Okay, so another thing about Project 2025 is what they call the 4 pillars, and the reading material makes up 2 of the pillars and is for the next Republican president. One of them is the Mandates for Leadership Manual, which gives a rundown of the existing administrative agencies and how the president is to interact with them. And there's also a bit about how to answer questions from the media and interacting with the public. Then there is the Transition Playbook, which is the 180-day plan that the president will follow to restructure the administrative agencies away from the nonpartisan and into political appointments. And the reason why it's 180 days is because the president usually has the most support in the first 180 days of office. The other 2 pillars are about gathering the people who will go to DC to help the president do this. So there's the personnel database, gathering information from people who want to go to DC, and then there's the academy to train them how to go through the interview process, how to pass security clearance, and also how to deal with media and answering questions from the public. So I don't know, maybe one of the things that we should be doing is signing ourselves up for the personnel database and going through the academy, so if this happens, we'll be there too. Another thing I want to point out is notice how Project 2025 does not rely on any particular Republican candidate to be president. It does not rely on Trump to happen. Any Republican candidate who becomes the next Republican president will be expected to execute Project 2025. And this is how the GOP runs their candidates to ensure that any Republican president will run the country in a way that serves their interest. This is something that Democrats need to think about. Why is it that we're left saying Biden, Biden, Biden is our only hope? But when Democrat candidates become Democrat presidents, we don't even feel like we have much influence over how they run the country and whether or not they serve our interest. It's because we allow them not to. Now, I know a lot of people will say it's because Republicans are a monolith and Democrats are not, but what's going on is Democrats are a monolith and they are centrists. The disagreements come from Democrat refusal to listen to or serve the interests of the actual left. Healthcare is an excellent example of how Project 2025 is not new. It is the natural extension of long-standing and ongoing efforts to collapse the healthcare system, and also a very good example of how Democrats also impede progress. It is important to understand that the reason why the United States stands nearly alone among developed nations in not having universal health care is rooted in anti-Black racism. In the late 1800s, there was an idea that if you could deny Black people access to health care, they would eventually die off. That is why the United States doesn't have universal health care, and that is why there is a long history of both parties sabotaging political leaders who attempt to introduce universal health care. Think about how the DNC sabotaged Bernie Sanders twice. Now, for people who are thinking that Marianne Wilson might be a good candidate, before you decide that, please Google Crutches and Spice and Marianne Wilson. Amani does an excellent job of breaking down how Marianne Wilson's stance on healthcare is problematic for people with disability. It's important for people to understand that the United States does not have a right wing and a left wing. The United States has a right and a center, which by design flies itself around in circles.
Hey, y'all. Is Project 2025 something to be concerned about? Yes, absolutely. Is Project 2025 something to worry about? No, and I'll tell you why. Because worrying doesn't solve anything. Activism helps. Getting involved with new political parties helps. And I can hear the sucking of teeth and the sighs, and I can see all the eye rolls right now. Here's what I know. I know that after many of us were not working and were flat broke during a pandemic that lasted a long time, the same president that just asked for $100 billion to help other people fight wars was the same president that threw us one check for 2 years unemployed. While both Republican and Democratic politicians were taking out PPP loans in the hundreds of thousands of dollars and had them forgiven. Now, mind you, these are the same politicians that said, why should we have to pay your tuition after a pandemic? These are the same politicians that are getting paid by the same people who want us to go back to the office because the economy isn't making the same money that it used to make from us being in traffic and having to eat out. $55,000 Americans die every year because they can't afford to see a doctor. 55,000 Americans die every year because they can't afford to see a doctor. When I went to school, I brought my notebook and a pencil my mother bought me, and maybe a couple of pencils in a little sack in the middle of the notebook, right? Now, you got to buy facial tissue, sanitizer, a box of pencils for the classroom, crayons, glue, freaking paper, like loose leaf paper, packs of paper for the classroom, for the teacher. Because somewhere along the line, our federal government stopped funding public education. Are they still paying some of it? Sure. But a lot of it isn't getting paid. Our children and children's children aren't getting a decent education. These are the same politicians that say their hands are tied when kids can't afford to eat lunch. People can't afford to fill their gas tank just to get to work. Single mothers out here working 2 jobs, hoping to God their kids don't burn down the house. either Democrat or Republican. You want universal health care? Vote for a socialist. And a lot of you ain't going to like what I have to say. You want tuition forgiveness? Vote for a socialist. You want to see the rich actually pay their fair share in taxes that Biden's been talking about? Vote for a socialist. They are about community. We are in Stockholm Syndrome. Worrying about what's coming does nothing. The election is a year away. 7,000 Palestinians just died in front of our faces. And these selfish people all want to talk about voting now. Shut up. I really don't give a fuck what anybody feels about Project 2025. My friends lost their families. And some people on this app are only thinking of themselves. Mad. Because they might have to struggle. Our government voted no on a ceasefire for a bunch of people that haven't had a glass of water in a week, that are expected to walk through the desert. And people want to talk about voting. Are you kidding? I don't give a shit who you vote for. I don't give a shit who anybody votes for. I don't care. I said in a video, just to negate all the gossip and naysayers, I want you to vote. I want you to vote. If you want to vote blue, you should do that. If you believe a Democrat will help you. I know that this president has been in office nearly 4 years. We needed a living wage when he got there. We need a living wage now, and there's still no sign of one coming. But somehow we came up with billions of dollars to send overseas. Man, it's almost as if they don't care. It's a toxic relationship where you're telling your friend he doesn't love you. He's cheating. I saw him. And you're like, oh, but you don't understand. When we're alone, he says so many nice things to me. You think Biden loves you just because he said, black people, Black Lives Matter, up on the podium when he got elected? People in Flint, Michigan still don't have clean drinking water. Like when they say, the Palestinians ain't free, we ain't free, Palestinians ain't got no water. People in Flint, Michigan still don't have proper drinking water. People in Jackson, Mississippi didn't have clean drinking water. In the United States of America, what was it, 2 years ago? A child in Texas froze to death because of the infrastructure in the state of Texas in the United States. They couldn't afford heat. If everyone who doesn't want a Republican capitalist running their country thought to themselves, well, which is the bigger problem? The fact that they're Republican or the fact that they're a capitalist? Well, to me, it's the fact that they're a capitalist. Okay. Well, who else is a capitalist? Democrats. Most of them. With the exception of the squad, I think. AOC's too young to run. Ilhan Omar is too hated because she's Muslim. Let's call it what it is. Rashida Tlaib is hated because she's Palestinian. That's what's happening. So, I'm always curious as to who wouldn't want to move further left and why. Capitalists don't want to move further left. Wealthy Democrats damn sure don't want to move further left. They always talk. I'm still waiting for Hillary Clinton to talk about how the super predators got that way. Because that's how she described young black men who were so desperate for money that they were dealing dope in the street in the 80s and 90s. She called them super predators with no conscience. She said, we can talk later about how they got that way, but right now they must be brought to heel like a dog. And then everybody wanted to vote for her. You know, she was saying the same shit that these Zionists are saying about Palestinians. But she's a Clinton. She loves us. They sound stupid. And they want to blame people like me for the fact that we got stuck with Trump. When the bottom line is, if you'd stop voting for fucking capitalists, you wouldn't have these problems. So, like I said in the video before, you get the leaders we deserve. And until we do something different, nothing different is going to happen. But it's a year away, and I would like time to grieve. So please, could everyone please put their panic button back in their dresser drawer? Israel has universal health care, and so does every damn capitalist politician in this country. Yeah.
So I've been getting a lot of questions about Project 2025, which is the conservative promise brought to you by the Heritage Foundation. And basically, this is the playbook, the manifesto for any Republican candidate if they get elected in 2024. It's a PDF. It's 920 pages long. I want to read it all and be informed, but I am about 150 pages in, and I want to highlight a few things that I've read already. The first thing they said in promise number 1 is to delete terms like diversity, equity, and inclusion, gender equality, gender equity, gender awareness. They want to get rid of all of this. They also equated being transgender with pornography, and their plan is to outlaw pornography. Anybody who's involved in that industry, even if you have like an OnlyFans page, you will be imprisoned. And they want you to register as a SO. And as if that isn't bad enough, just think about that. Where would that line be drawn? Where would that stop? So anybody who is trans will basically be imprisoned for the distribution of pornography. They're basically calling access to social media apps child abuse. But again, where would that line be drawn? Where would it stop? Because they're coming for TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, anything with social media. So if you're currently a content creator, you're a social media influencer, they're coming for you too. And we already know that they've been coming for women's reproductive organs, but they really want to outlaw this on every level, not only at federal level, but at state level. And they claim that they're pro-life and pro-family, but we know that they are pro-control. So this is just a start into Project 2025. There's a lot more, but you should be very leery of what Republicans are trying to do if they win in 2024.
So this is all I got from the stitches, and really, sincerely speaking, I hope that this Project 2025, because like it's a whole lot, I mean, coming out this time around, and everybody's also emphasizing on the health care, because like, you know, I mean, health is wealth, and I think I think we all deserve like a better health care and all that. It really doesn't matter who you are and all that. And that is something some of them refuse to see. They refuse to understand that we all deserve a better health care, whether you are black, you are brown, or you are white, you know. And the fact that, see, this health care is actually free for some people, capitalists, the ones that are like, you know, the movers and the shakers. But the reality is that it is high time people put themselves first against all these politicians, against all these people, like, you know, making things hard for every other person, right? the rich ones can afford anything they want. They can like do anything they want. It is not bugging them. It is not bothering them, like, because they are wealthy. But can people that do not have a lot, can they afford all this? A lot of money has been sent away to people that have universal health care. You can imagine help, because for me, I personally think that, health system is something that everybody should get. It should be part of social amenities, But then it looks like it is just for the rich, and if you are poor, you are not even you are supposed to pay through your nose to get good medical health care, And Project 2025 is already here, and a lot of people are panicking. Some people are already reminding Black people why they refuse to make the healthcare, even the healthcare, why they refuse to make it free, just because they do not want Black people to benefit out of it and all that. But then it boils down to, who are you voting for? Who do you want to be the next president? Is it the same people that is holding the same power, or you want to do something different? Because if you are looking for results, if you want something different, you have to do something different. You can't be doing the same thing you've been doing and expect something to be different. You definitely will get the same results. So I am not going to tell you who to vote. You all are already in these shoes, and you know how you feel and how tough things are for you already. And you should be the one in a better position to choose a better leader for you and yours. And that is it, And most of the politicians do not even want to go left. All of them are on the right. They don't want to go left. So it's just all your decision, whatever you decide. And also, I hear them trying to make Black people, especially Black people, fearmonger. I mean, the white liberals. I saw them on TikTok campaigning for Joe Biden. They were telling Black people, if you decided to withhold your vote and all that, I mean, you might be punishing yourself. So they were telling Black people, if you decide not to vote for Biden, you might end up bringing in Donald Trump, because not voting Biden means you are voting against your interests and all that. I mean, because a lot of people already said, we aren't voting for this man anymore because of what he's doing in the Middle East and all that, which is good enough for people not to vote for him, because I think that man really messed up. But I am not campaigning for anybody. I am saying that you all have to do the right thing. Do not let anybody put fear into you about voting. Do what you are supposed to do. They know Black people have a lot of votes already. So that's why they are trying to, some are saying do not, some are even saying do not vote at all. So you do not want Black people to vote, and that means that another 4 years or another how many years is already lost. So no, you are going to vote, and I hope you vote the right person, the person that will understand Black people's problems, that will be there for Black people. Not just somebody that would want to come to the podium before the election and start saying Black Lives Matters, or start saying Divine Nine, and trying to get votes. Not somebody who genuinely cares. This time around, we need someone that genuinely cares for Black people. I think that is all I can say for now. And let me know what you all think in the comment section. Thank you so much for the support. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.